Okay, as someone that spends a lot of time in Adobe Premiere, I found myself kind of always on the hunt of anything that can kind of help me kind of mix things up, shake up the formula, do anything to kind of add a little variance or spice to the stuff that I'm delivering my clients. And all that has kind of led me to Dehancer, because this is a plugin I've seen a lot about, and I've been really interested in it, but it kind of started out its life as a DaVinci Resolve plugin, and it's just only been kind of not too long ago that they've started actually having Premiere plugins for Dehancer. So what I want to do is I wanted to go in and kind of dive into Dehancer and take a look at it and see if it's something that can make sense for you if you're looking to add a post-production kind of spice up to your workflow. Now, one note about this, I was contacted by Dehancer, which worked out perfectly in the timing because I was just thinking about playing around with this. So they did send me a copy, but they were very, very clear. They wanted to be brutally honest. They didn't want to influence me in any way, shape, or form, which I really appreciated from a company. They just wanted my honest opinion. So what I want to do is I want to dive in here on the computer and look at what Dehancer can and can't do, and where I personally think it works really good in a workflow and where it doesn't. All right, let's go take a look at it. All right, so as we jump here in Premiere, the first thing I would point out is kind of a workflow component for Dehancer just to make sure you maximize it for its best ability, and that is this. I would not recommend putting Dehancer on every single clip. It's just gonna slow down your Premiere, especially Premiere, which tends to struggle with these things anyway. Go ahead and make an adjustment layer and put Dehancer on that adjustment layer. It gives you an extra level of control, and it's just gonna make everything flow a lot better. So definitely recommended tip. Now, if you look here, I have a Red Komodo raw clip that I shot for a film that I was doing. And I want to show you, one of the things I was interested in is how can this Dehancer enhance what I have? And I want to start right from the base, and I'm going to show you another way to approach this. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag Dehancer over here to an adjustment layer. Now, as you look over here, you're going to start to see you have a ton of options here in Dehancer. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to get that input fixed out. Now, as we happen to have right here, I have a red raw clip. So I want to change my input source first. So I'm going to go ahead and you can come here and you can actually choose a camera, which is really, really nice. Now, once you come to the camera, you can go and find your camera. Now, there are a lot of cameras in there. It's not completely updated. I have an R5 Mark II. It is not on here. I'm sure that'll be coming, so check out for those updates. And as you can see, a Red Komodo 6K, log 310 standard, boom, that is exactly what I shot it in, and now we have the clip there. Now, once I've got that input in there, now what I can do is you're gonna come to the film module. And if you look here, if I cut that off, you can see right there. And the big thing about Dehancer, if you don't know, Dehancer is essentially a film emulator. It emulates the look of lots of classic films. And this is really where you get that stylized ability, but it does a lot more than that. So you can see it starts here on a Kodak Vision 3 250D, which is too much contrast for me. But if you look here, I can click on this pull down menu and I have a ton of different options. And I really love this Odox Color Implosion 100. This gives me a lot more of a look that I want. One note about this too, if you ever click on any of these and you're not seeing an effect, make sure you click on this enable and box here to make sure you can see it. But you can see right there, that is what I had here without this look. And then if I click that on, I just instantly get a much more different vibe to my look. And I love how that comes on there. Now, because this is a film developer, you can actually come in and start to do different things. Now, one thing I've noticed is the film grain is really interesting. You can come here on the film grain and you can actually get different types of grain. You can actually come and customize it completely the way you want, or you can do like a classic 35 millimeter. Let's say we want to do a 250 ISO. What that's going to do, that's just going to give you a nice little type of organic film grain. Because this is based on real film, it's going to make that look really nice. Now, if for some reason you want that kind of film stock look, but you don't want the grain because you still want to keep a little cleaner image, you can disable that and you're going to still keep the look without the grain. I find that actually really useful to do on a lot of my commercial projects, and I don't want quite as much kind of character, for lack of a better term, in a commercial work that's going on YouTube. And as you can see, you just have a ton of other options here in the thing. So the customization on this is so extreme. One of the tools that I really like is the color head, because I can come in here and as you can see, I can set tonality here 4 different ways. Maybe I want to make this just a little cooler, just to add that kind of iciness. Maybe I want to do it. And what I like here is you can actually come in the shadows, the midtones, and the highlights and just adjust those. So let's say for the shadows, I really want to make those feel really cool, or maybe I just want to add a touch of warmth back to my shadows, kind of like this, just to kind of do it. And you can see now how this thing's really starting to build up. And if I cut this on and off, you'll obviously see there's just a gigantic difference here in adding that character. And I really like the character because I think that's really why you get a plugin like this, is for the character. Another thing that I find really very helpful is there's actually a monitor option here. And if you look here, it will actually show you your false color. And this is very, very helpful in letting you know what clipping it is and all that stuff. I really like this on here. And now it's really cool because now I've done this as a kind of global adjustment layer on top. I can go between two shots, and if I go to another shot, look at this, it'll instantly go ahead and give me that same look. And you can see if I go between these two shots, that it gives me a very good, consistent look because I did it on that adjustment layer, and these two shots match perfectly and they go very, very well. Really, really nice component of doing that. And just so you know, I have a clip here, for instance, from a Canon R5C. You can do the exact same thing here. If I do an R5C, I can come to the input, I'm gonna come to choose camera. So I'm gonna come to the R5C, that was on the C-Log3 Cinema Gamut, and boom, all the way, I'm ready to go, rock and roll. Now I can come in my film stuff, and I can really start planning exactly what I want. So it doesn't really matter. There's a lot of cameras here, which I think is a really important thing. But all that being said, why you can take Dehancer and really come in right from the start and start working from the base level of the film. But where I really found I like Dehancer as far as professionally, as far as a commercial level add-on that I can use for client work, was I like bringing it on the end of the project. And I'm gonna come here to a clip I have right here. And what I have here is I have a clip that I have already color graded. I've already gone through. This is what I would consider a basic grade. I've got it ready. It's ready to go. All the colors are where I want it. But I just needed to have maybe a little more character and a little more oomph. And this is where I really, really love bringing Dehancer in, because you can dial it in and just kind of get that bit of texture you need on the thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and bring my Dehancer on here. And now what I wanna do, because this is an already rendered and finished picture, I'm gonna make sure I have it set to Rec 709, because that's just gonna give me that rendered kind of file I got. And now that I did that, is I can kind of come in now and really start playing with it. I'm gonna go back here to this ADOX color implosion, 100 right here. And you can see it kind of lowers the contrast, gives me that more smoky type look. And you can see it just really adds a completely different kind of vibe than what I had from before. It really has that, I kind of like that look, because I kind of like it being a little bit lower contrasty and just a nice vibe. But I have so many options here. If I want to come to Fujichrome, I come to Fujichrome. If I want to come to Kodak, I can come to that. You can see this really, really gets me that ability to dial in a texture that I want. Or let's say I want to come to a more matrixy type green look. I can kind of come that and instantly do it. And what's really nice about this, you can add things in there like halation and bloom. Like let's say I really need to have bloom on there. Well, look what that does to my lights. You can see now my lights have this nice little extra bloom on there. And I can also add film damage, and I can really come in here, and if I really want to get the film damage, I can really come in here and just dial it in exactly what I want if I need something super gritty and all that stuff. And at the bottom here, what's really nice is you can actually come and do an output, and let's say this is too strong, I can actually dial it down and measure it in so it's not quite so strong. And the great thing is, because this is an adjustment layer, I can also do the same thing by adjusting the opacity of my thing. And so what I'll do is let's say I just want maybe just a tint of green in there, and you can see now what that does. It just adds that little bit, just a little texture to make my thing a little more interesting and stand out from the other stuff that I've done. Whenever I do a review of anything, I like to point out what I consider any room for improvements, that just so you're aware of every aspect of this program. It really, this does exactly what I want. I mean, one room of improvement, I would say just keep your eyes up. So if you have like an R5 Mark II, you're up to date with the latest camera, but you can find usually cameras that are close to that to make the profiles work. Just be aware that if you're working in Premiere and Dehancer, Premiere is a notoriously can be kind of quirky with some of the stuff. So you're gonna it may slow down your workflow a little bit. That's why I recommend using an adjustment layer at the end. Just something to be aware of. Now, the only other aspect about this that you should be aware of is going to be the price, because it is an expensive plugin. You can get a lifetime version of it for $449, or you can do a year for $299, 6 months, $199, 3 months for $149. But let's be honest, if you're going to do this, you should get the lifetime membership to it, because that's going to let you have it forever and not have the subscription death model that I think most of us really hate. And while it is expensive, I do have to give them mad kudos for that lifetime option, because I'm one of those people, I want to buy something once and not have to keep on paying a subscription fee to it. And really the one thing I think that tips Dehancer over making this a really valuable program is you have so much flexibility in what you can do, and knowing that 5 years from now, you can still be using it. It's still going to be updating. You can get still great, really effects. And it's going to help you differentiate it, because a lot of times you find you can get stuck in ruts, and having anything that allows you to be creatively go on those ruts and deliver new and interesting looks to the clients makes it, in my opinion, very, very worth it. I think this stuff pays for itself. Essentially, you get one commercial that you develop a look that the client likes, or you're working on a short film or music video and just really deliver a great punchy look. For me, in one project, that would sort of make it worth itself, but it is something to be aware of. And as always, if you're using this, I think the key is going to be moderation. Don't, blast it all over your footage. Take it and dial it down and just get that nice little formula, cook it just right where it's subtle, but adds that kick without calling too much attention to itself. Anyway, guys, I'd love to hear what you have to say with this. Leave me notes and comments down below. And yeah, go out there, keep on shooting. Yeah, I'll talk to you soon.